In the project I have been awarded a John Goldman Fellowship for, we will study a particular protein called MYC, which is very important for the development of some leukemias. And MYC is aberrantly expressed in many different leukemias, but my project focuses on T-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia in particular. So I hope that patients that suffer this disease will directly benefit from the outputs of my project. But I would like to highlight that MYC is also involved in many other different malignancies. So hopefully in the long term, also patients suffering from other subtypes of leukemia or even solid tumors could benefit from the outputs of my project. I applied for a John Goldman Fellowship because it is one of the few schemes that supports young scientists during this transition from postdoc to become an independent researcher. As postdocs, we usually work under other scientists, a group leader or principal investigator. But with this fellowship, I hope I will be able to generate as much data as I can, working on my own project, and hopefully in the future I will be able to apply to larger grants that will allow me to consolidate myself as an independent researcher in leukemia. In this project, we work in the context of T-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia, and about 80% of patients with this disease show an aberrant expression or a faulty MYC function. So we think that these patients could directly benefit from the results of our research in the mid-long term. But faulty MYC is also critical in many other different subtypes of leukemia, and also in many different solid tumors that are very aggressive and that have very limited options for treatment, like neuroblastoma. So I like to think that these patients could also benefit in the long term from our discoveries. Over the past few decades, we have seen a big improvement in terms of treatment and cure rates in patients with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. I think all these have been achieved thanks to the effort of clinicians, researchers, and also patients. But what has been crucial, I think, it's been the funding and the resources that have been allocated for this research. So my hope in the future is that even more resources are allocated to accelerate this progress and try to find more effective ways and better treatments for hematological malignancies. So my hope is that in the near future, patients with leukemia can benefit from treatments that are 100% effective and hopefully that have very limited side effects, so they can live long and normal lives. And I think that the funding that Leukemia UK is allocating for this research will be fundamental to reach that goal.